think of sailors manning huge ships as people who spend their lives at sea, which is quite right, but they also have some time in the ports of the world. So what does a lowly paid merchant seaman do when he arrives in an Australian port? Cost of transport to the city centre is expensive for them. Food costs are high, and any entertainment is beyond their resources. This is where the Mission to Seafarers comes in. This is an organisation that provides transport to and activities in the cities, along with lots of home comforts. So if you feel an affinity to foreign sailors and want to help out, maybe this is a role you can embrace.
The Mission to Seafarers has been operating in Sydney for 150 years.
So there must be a need for them, for their services.
There is. Well, even from that time, the seafarers were often the forgotten people in world trade. Yes. They're the crews that actually provide or manage the ship en route to Australia. Australia's an island nation. 99% of our goods come by ship. The rest come by air. Right. They don't get here any other way.
You were saying earlier that the majority of seafarers, merchant seamen these days, do not come from Western countries. That is right, isn't it?
They're all from developing nations. Probably 30%, around 30% come from the Philippines, about 20% from India, about another 20% from China, and a growing area of sourcing seafarers is Myanmar, another very poor developing nation.
Right, and the reason for that is the low wages, is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Yeah, it's all around how cheap can we actually provide that service.
That's right. Okay, and so what sort of people volunteer for the mission?
A range of people, people interested in shipping, which is what my background is. I was involved for all my career, 35 years, with the port industry, working for the Port Authority, and I had a lot of interaction with ship's crew during that period of time and understood their plight and the difficult time that they have, and obviously with increasing security in the port area, their time that they actually get to go ashore is very short, and that time is very valuable to them. They don't get to go ashore at every port, and typically, the seafarer would only get ashore for 2, maybe 4 hours maximum to actually get some downtime away from being captive on the ship.
What attracted you to the organisation?
I've been working on the seafront in Sydney for 40 odd years, and I decided that in retirement that I could offer something back to the group, and this is a place I could volunteer and give the guys something back that I've been seeing these people back and forth for many years.
Are they pretty pleased to see you?
They certainly are. Yes,
right,
yes.
Right.
They're quite enthusiastic about. I think it's just the fact that they been to a new city, they can get off the vessel and have a bit of time ashore.
Have you been to Sydney before?
This is my first time.
First time.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, you better get out and have a look.
I have to go somewhere there.
Yeah, you got yourself an Australian T-shirt.
Sure.
Right, okay. Yep.
It's great.
Beautiful. Okay.
The vast majority will not have access to any Wi-Fi until they're ashore, and the mission...
And they're only ashore for 2 hours?
Yes, well, one of the things that we actually provide is in the bus that we transport them into the city, we actually have a dongle which provides Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi for the ship's crew. The moment they get on board, they all want to know what's the Wi-Fi password so that they can actually contact home. And there's obviously free Wi-Fi within our centre here at Millers Point.
What is the majority of the work of a volunteer? Just driving around?
It varies. It depends on the skill set. I have a licence to drive the large bus, so I drive the bus, but I also assist in preparing funding requests. We actually raise all our funds, so we're independent as far as funding. Each of the missions are independent around Australia. And
independent from the church?
Well, they are as funding source, yes. They've got to independently raise their funds.
Right, okay.
We've got a guest book here which you can actually go through, and there's lots and lots of seafarers who very, very appreciative of the opportunity to get ashore and the services that we provide. You know, the opportunity to get into here. They can change money when they arrive here, and they can go and walk around. And obviously our location's ideally suited to look at the tourist spots such as the Opera House. They all want to see the Opera House first visit.
Good. So the people there are escorted around, are they?
No. They are free to, when they come ashore, they're free to move around. Obviously they are required to return, and there's the logbooks kept at each of the terminals where they actually exit, and their passport details and everything else are actually recorded. So
okay, good. So is there a time commitment that a volunteer has to give?
No, it really it's a matter of sort of what time they can spare. You know, so as I said, I actually provide, I do driving but also assist with funding requests. We have other volunteers who assist us in IT work and maintaining our Facebook. So it depends on your skill set. We have other volunteers who actually work our shop. We've got a small shop here that provides small personal items and candy and the like for seafarers.
And I noticed there's a
and souvenirs as well.
So you've got a ping pong table out there?
We've got a ping pong table, we've got a pool table as well. There is a Mission to Seafarers or a similar facility either by the Mission to Seafarers or Stella Maris, which is the Catholic organisation, in all the major ports around Australia, so in the order of 20 and the ports.
So wherever you are in Australia, in Perth,
wherever major shipping actually calls, there'll be an organisation there to help the ship's crew, you know, get ashore, get to the town, get to services, and sort of have an opportunity to actually relax away from the ship.
But yes, I would suggest that it's something that people who are retired could give a day or two a week to, whether it's this industry or other volunteering pursuits. There are quite a few around if you start looking.
Yeah, I must say it was good to be reminded quite how important merchant seamen are. And everything that I am standing in, that Rob's standing in, including the truck behind him, 90% of goods that come to Australia come in a container ship. And like he said, these are the forgotten people in the supply chain. Isn't it good that there is such an organisation that meets these guys off the ships just about every single day of the year? If you've got some time on your hands and you appreciate what you've got, then the Seafarers mission is a pretty good organisation to get involved with.
Mm-hmm.